one of the ways that I deal with stage fright is that I'm like, this is really dumb, which is like, to hear you say it's preposterous is like, that's sort of my approach in a way, is that like, whatever happens here, hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I sing the right notes.
Yeah.
But this is preposterous. This is all sort of a joke anyways.
Yeah.
And so like the levels to it are that like, if you don't take yourself too seriously kind of thing, and then seeing people who take that to a whole nother level where there's this whole sort of, I'm pretty reserved on stage. I'm not like climbing the scaffolding or anything like that. But you do see people doing that, and I think it sort of helps me actually to be like, people take this to extreme levels of being preposterous, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just up here just sort of just let me sing about my ex-girlfriend, whatever.
It's kind of funny that like this thing that pretty much everyone thought was lame in high school, like entertainment, and I'm including writing, theater, singing, all of it, like it was all not cool, like decidedly uncool.
Yeah.
And then as soon as everyone left high school and went to their respective place and then somehow succeeds at that thing, then it becomes not just like cool, but the coolest thing.
Right.
And so sometimes, I just try to go like, you're a fucking nerd, dude.
Yeah.
You write about ancient philosophy, and then you get up and you talk to people about it with these stupid slides. Like that feels, it's not like an imposter syndrome, like, but it is just trying to kind of like wipe away maybe like the ego and self-importance, which can create like a fear or a like just a paralyzation.
Totally.
You kind of lower the stakes by going like, this is really silly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like in the sort of philosophical way, like there's so many different ways to, I guess, approach like, whether it's stage fright or whatever, but the sort of anxiety around being an artist. And I think one of the things that I think about is like, there's the idea, like obviously control what you can control is such a big part of all of that stuff. But the problem with that is that like you're in some control here as a performer, as a writer, or whatever. It's like, and so you do put a certain amount of pressure on yourself to control that situation, and that creates its own anxiety. Yeah. But I think what really helps with that is to be like, well, even within that, I've prepared as much as I can, or whatever it is, and truly the best medicine for me is just being like, and it's all very silly.
Yes. I just did this talk in Brazil, and so when you do like talks like I do in foreign countries, as an American, you're just like so entitled. Like, of course everyone speaks English, right? Yeah. And in most of the audiences they do, but when you do like in countries where English is not actually the main language, everyone in the audience has headphones and it's being routed through a translator, like in real time. So one of this was like 5,000 people, is an insane amount of people. Wow. And they weren't here to see me. It was a conference. So it was just like one of the people. It's like a festival audience. Yeah. Like you don't get to give yourself credit for all the people that arrive. We call that
a soft audience.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, it's a soft audience, and then like there's going to be this delay, which effectively, like in what I do, means that you get nothing from the audience, because you're not like, they're not breaking into applause, they're not getting up and dancing. So basically I was just like, I just had to tell myself, I'm going to go do something that I'm going to get literally crickets for. So just don't stress about it at all. There really is no good or bad performance here. There's just like, did you do it? Yeah. And they knew what they were bringing when they brought you, that they chose someone who didn't speak English, right? Or who only spoke English. And so kind of just, figuring out some way to address the stakes so you can kind of just go and be present and do the thing. Yeah. You're always just finding some version of that for the unique situation that you're going into.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I don't know. No, I didn't. I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, I created a self-contained thing where that way I didn't walk off stage in a cold sweat and be like, I got nothing. Like I had to go know in advance. And I guess I'll get the video of it after. But
I mean, like for you, like, because I mean, ultimately,
I think I did good.
Yeah, like you went into it, you didn't feel nervous, you didn't feel, like, not that you didn't feel nervous. I'm sure you felt a little nervous, but.
Well, I have this like little piece of art on our wall at our house that someone gave me, and they didn't know how perfect it was. But like I remember, I was backstage before a thing. Oftentimes there's like a bunch of speakers, and so obviously I'm like trying to get in my headspace. So I'm not paying attention at all of what's happening on stage. And then the person comes off stage and I was like, you were great up there. Yeah. And of course I had not I don't know if they were great. I was just being nice.
Sure.
And then afterwards, I got off, and someone was like, "You were great," and I remember feeling like, "Yes."
Yeah,
and then,
you took it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then like at like my next talk, someone gave me this piece of art, and it literally just says, "You were great up there." And I think about that all the time because it's just like actually what if people said it was terrible or good, it doesn't matter. You have to kind of create your own little bubble where you decide whether it was good or not. Mm-hmm. Even though you also care about delivering a great show, but like if you're riding or dying on how it felt to you from the place you are least fit to judge what's happening, you're setting yourself up for some very fragile post-performance feelings.
For sure. The music version of that is great set, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone always says that, like at festivals. Everyone's just walking around like, great set, dude. No one saw the set.
No.
They were all like getting changed, but you'll see a guy be like, great set, dude. You'll be like, you too, man, great set.
Yeah. But just the ease with which you give it to other people, and then the weight in which it feels with you. And then realizing that, when people say nice things or mean things about you on the internet, they didn't even experience what they were giving this nice or mean opinion about.
Yeah.
It's just things people say.
Yeah. No, well, it's interesting. I was thinking about your approach to, I mean, I've read your writing. I think obviously a lot of people listening to this have read your writing. I think it's interesting to imagine you, the person who is dispensing so much amazing knowledge, like in practice, like going in front of thousands of people or in a pretty stressful situation and leaning on all the things that you
it's still like the job. Like I think that must be fascinating for you too, in that like music is this thing, it's this artistic thing, and then also it's this like you have to be at the Moody Center at a time tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
And like go through some motions, and then you have to like go up and do a thing from this time to this time. And if you're short, they're mad. If you're long, they're mad.
Sure.
And then there's just like it's a thing. And so like seeing it as kind of a profession that people have done for a long time, there's like tips and tricks.
Sure.
It's like it's also part of that kind of demystification that you need to have to like know how to do it.
Totally. Well, and I think about how like I don't know, and I wonder what all the things that you've learned make you feel about this, but like for me, I think it's when I'm healthy, mentally, physically, and like just generally doing well, I feel like I don't have to necessarily like there's sort of an autopilot good energy going into something. Like if you're talking about like public speaking, or even if it's something as simple as like I really need to call a family member and tell them they need to do X, Y, or Z, or my opinion on something which is stressful or whatever. Those things just happen when you're in that like good flow. Mm-hmm. But I feel like when I lean on, or when I'm having the internal monologue of like control what you can control, or whatever you're trying to say, or like I do the mine is what if you're great, like trying to just unwind.
What does that mean?
Someone taught me this once, and it really works. But it's like, or for me anyway. The idea is that if you're having performance anxiety, and you could apply this to anything, but it's like that what's happening is you're projecting that something is going to go bad, or that you're going to have a less than ideal performance, or the phone call with your friend's going to go bad, or whatever. And like with equal likelihood, you could just try to turn the tide and be like, what if it goes really well?
Yeah.
Like, what if I actually start having almost a grandiose illusion about it? Like what if it actually, like, what if this person comes in? Because ultimately, it's all completely, you don't know. The outcome is completely unknown. So it could be just as likely that you're going to kill it. And it's actually probably more likely the more you think like that. So it's like, so just to try to turn the tide and stop the feedback loop of anxiety, to just be like, all right, about to go out there. There's a lot of people out there.
Plan for success also, not just like it's all going to fall apart because you suck and you're not going to, you can't do this.
Exactly.